Today, we're baking perfect soft dinner rolls. Fluffy, melt-in-your-mouth goodness that'll have your family coming back for more. But here's the thing. Making perfect dinner rolls isn't as simple as just mixing ingredients. In this video, I'm going to walk you through every step from start to finish and show you the common mistakes people make at home so you can avoid them and bake perfect rolls every time. Trust me, you don't want to miss the tips I'll be sharing today, so make sure to stick with me until the end. Let's dive in. Alright, let's start by preparing our wet ingredients. We're using 200 milliliters of full-fat milk, which will give us that soft, rich texture. Add 20 grams of sugar into the milk. Now we add 6 grams of instant yeast directly into the mixture. No need to activate it. And just give it a good mix. Instant yeast is awesome because it's so easy to work with. Just add it straight in and it does its job. Next, we're adding 1 tablespoon of honey. This will give our rolls an extra bit of sweetness and keep them moist. Mix it all together. Now crack in 1 medium-sized egg. This will make our rolls tender and soft. Give everything a good whisk until it's smooth. Now let's get our dry ingredients ready. In a separate bowl, take 400 grams of high-protein bread flour, about 13% protein, and add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Give it a quick stir. The high-protein flour is what gives these rolls their chewy texture, but depending on the type of flour you're using, you may need to adjust the liquid. Here's a tip. If you're using all-purpose flour instead of bread flour, you might need less liquid. All-purpose flour has lower protein content, so it doesn't absorb as much. Start with the recipe as written, but feel free to tweak it if needed. For high-protein flours, you might need a splash more liquid to get the right dough consistency compared to low-protein flours. Now, let's combine the wet and dry ingredients. Slowly pour the liquid mixture into the flour and start mixing everything together. Use a spatula or a wooden spoon to bring it all together. You want the dough to come together, but it should still be a little sticky. Now let's move the dough to a clean surface and start kneading. Knead the dough for about 2 to 3 minutes at first just to get it going. After the first few minutes, add in your 30 grams of softened butter in chunks. Keep kneading for another 12 to 15 minutes. Yes, it's a bit of work, but trust me, it's worth it for that perfect soft texture. Here's a little secret. If, after 5 minutes of kneading, the dough still feels a little sticky or not quite elastic enough, just keep kneading. Sometimes it takes an extra time to get that perfect texture. You want it to be smooth, soft. After kneading for about 12 to 15 minutes, it's time to check the dough using the window pane test. Take a small piece of dough and gently stretch it between your fingers. If the dough stretches thin enough to form a translucent, almost see-through window without tearing, that means the gluten has developed well and the dough is ready. If the dough tears too easily, it's okay. Just knead it a little longer. Once your dough is nice and smooth, cover it with a clean towel or plastic wrap and set it aside to rise. Let it rest in a warm place for about an hour or until it doubles in size. If your kitchen is a little cool, place a bowl of warm water in the oven or just leave the oven light on. The warmth from the light will help the dough rise beautifully even in cooler temperatures. Alright, it's time to shape the rolls. Once your dough has risen, punch it down gently to release the air. Now divide the dough into equal pieces. You can just eyeball it, but here's a pro tip. Use a kitchen scale to weigh the dough. This way, each roll will be the same size and bake evenly. Using a kitchen scale makes everything more consistent and professional looking. Plus, it'll make your rolls look perfectly uniform and just a little bit fancier. Tight rolls will give you fluffier, more uniform rolls. Take your time shaping them. Also, when rolling, avoid overflouring the surface as it can make the dough dry. A light dusting is enough. Now shape each piece of dough into a ball and place them on a baking tray. You can arrange them close together so they bake into each other, giving you those soft pull-apart rolls. Cover them again and let them rise for about 30 to 45 minutes or until they're nice and puffy. Keep an eye on the dough. It should double in size, but don't let it go past that point. If your kitchen is cool, place the dough in the oven with just the light on, or you can simply place a shallow bowl of hot water on the lower rack of the oven or near the dough while it rises. After the second rise, brush the rolls lightly with milk for a beautiful, shiny finish. This will give them that gorgeous golden sheen once they bake. Or brush them lightly egg wash just before baking. It'll give them that golden glossy finish. While the rolls are rising, preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius or 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Once they've puffed up nicely, pop them in the oven and bake for about 18 to 20 minutes or until they're golden brown on top. And here they are, fresh, golden, and soft as can be. Once the rolls are out of the oven, let them cool for a few minutes before serving. While they're still hot, brush the tops with a little melted butter. This will give them a beautiful, soft, golden finish and an extra bit of flavor. These dinner rolls are perfect for any meal, and I guarantee they'll be a hit. You know, making dinner rolls at home can sometimes be tricky, but knowing common mistakes can help you avoid them. Here are main 6 typical errors people make while baking dinner rolls at home: not using the right flour for fluffy, soft dinner rolls. Use high-protein bread flour. It gives the rolls the right structure and fluffy. Not measuring ingredients accurately. Always measure ingredients carefully. Use a kitchen scale for the most accurate measurements, especially for flour, and adjust the liquid based on the flour's protein content. Undermixing the dough. If you don't mix the dough enough, it can lead to uneven texture and lack of rise. Not allowing enough rise time. Not giving the dough enough time to rise properly. This can result in dense rolls that don't have that light, airy texture. Overproofing the dough. Letting the dough rise for too long during the first or second rise can cause it to collapse or become too airy, resulting in flat rolls. Not adjusting liquid levels for flour type. Using too much or too little liquid depending on the type of flour can result in dough that's too dry or too sticky. High-protein bread flour needs more liquid than all-purpose flour, so adjust the liquid as you go. If the dough feels too dry, add a little more milk or water. I hope you've understood the method and all the tips for making the perfect dinner rolls. With these steps, you're sure to get soft, fluffy rolls every time. Give it a try, and I'm sure you'll love the results. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a new recipe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.